If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below.
Man, I cannot wait to find out what happened to Luke, Han, and Leia after the Return of the Jedi. Episode 1? Episode 1? Does that mean this story's going backwards literally and figuratively?
The problem here is, of course, back in 1981, George Lucas renamed Star Wars to Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, which insinuates that there were 3 stories that came before it. That there would be prequels hadn't been a surprise for 18 years up until that point.
Also, I didn't read any of that let alone comprehend it.
But wouldn't you need to have read it in order to comprehend it in the first place?
Funny, since the days of Episode 4, which is technically after this movie's events, how much extra technology this era has over its successor.
Hey Jeremy, these are droids, and you know what else was a droid in Episode 4? C-3PO. And if you want to be pedantic, these particular droids are made by the Separatists, and the entire point of the Clone Wars era is to show how the Separatists were defeated and their tech destroyed.
This way, please.
When our high-ranking political guests have to walk at the slow-ass pace of a droid like this, maybe we've taken the robot workers concept too far.
He says while showing TC-14 moving at a brisk jog.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Come with me if you want to live.
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the movie cliche.
Also, goddammit, this stupid-ass rat tail. I thought various ponytails were for either preventing hair from getting in the way or to be cool. This is neither. Discuss.
Jeremy hates chicken heads. Struggle tails need love too.
The ambassadors are Jedi Knights, I believe.
Why would the Chancellor send obvious Jedi to the Trade Federation when it's pretty obvious they would never agree to enter the same room with them? Sending Jedi to something like this is almost like declaring war. At least make them not dress like Jedi so it can be a surprise.
Chancellor Valorum has no idea Darth Sidious has been manipulating these people. Naturally, neither do the Jedi, so they were sent here to negotiate. The only reason you know this is a bad thing is because you already have outside information the characters within the film do not have.
Kill them immediately.
As you wish.
Because killing Jedi is easy. We're on it, boss.
That was a direct order from Lord Sidious. What are they supposed to do, not even try?
Can you send gas to just one room when you feed it into the air conditioning system? Or was this room created by Spectre to execute people you don't like on a whim?
Yes, because I'm sure those were the only 2 options.
Check it out, Corporal. We'll cover you.
Robot soldiers have corporals?
Sure, why not? These droids all have AI, and this scene literally shows it. If they weren't autonomous, there would have been no need for one droid to tell the other to do something. The answer is right in your face.
All this destruction, and there isn't any smoke, scratch marks, burns, or anything marking a battle took place other than some ruined droids. If you want to know why subconsciously you were hating this movie, it's little details like that.
Or you're watching a small-scale fight between 2 Jedi and 8 battle droids.
Master, destroy us! This movie suddenly becomes like a video game where the bad guys send new enemies for the hero to fight, but just 2 of them so the game doesn't get too challenging too fast.
Maybe droidicas are just too resource-heavy to create, naturally limiting the amount of them. Or destroyer droids are really good at what they do, so you only need 2. Even if none of this is true, the movie is showing that the Viceroy underestimates what it takes to defeat Jedi, which isn't so much a flaw of the film, but a flaw of the character within the film.
A communications disruption can mean only one thing. Invasion.
What? Do you not know about asteroids and other space anomalies? Are communications always perfect for you assholes?
This is like asking Avengers Endgame era Iron Man, has he finally figured out the icing problem?
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
But I will condone this hairdo I'm sporting, which surely cost gobs of government dollars, but whatever.
Jeremy sends Queen Amidala style, which is worth at least 5 cents.
I'm guessing in 2019, George Lucas will want to add some more lizards to this shot so that it will finally be complete.
Except that joke doesn't work because George Lucas sold the rights to Star Wars 3 years before you made this video.
Glad we could see the camera follow this chunk of sprites falling to the ground to add to our enjoyment.
I don't know. Qui-Gon f***ing shit up kinda makes it hot.
You're going to the bosses. You're in big doo-doo this time.
You're in big doo-doo this time.
It's not a sin if it makes you laugh. And if you didn't laugh...
You're in big doo-doo this time. You're in big doo-doo this time. Yusa in big doo-doo this time.
You're in big doo-doo this time.
Yusa in big doo-doo this time. Yusa in big doo-doo this time. Yusa in big doo-doo this time. You this time.
A droid army is about to attack the Naboo. We must warn them.
We sound no like the Naboo.
Wait, I thought Naboo was the name of the planet.
It is, but it's also the name of the people, numbnuts.
You and the Naboo form a symbiont circle. What happens to one of you will affect the other. You must understand this.
It appears that the Gungans and the Naboo are completely separate from each other. These guys live in what is basically a secret underwater city and do fine without one another, so I don't get it.
The point is that should Naboo get invaded, the invaders might not want to live in peace with the Gungans when they find them there and may even attempt to exploit or enslave them.
He owes me what you call a life debt. Your gods demand that his life belongs to me now.
I know this because I know everything about your culture I just learned existed 5 minutes ago. I mean, seriously, he just had this exchange with Obi-Wan.
Master, what's a bongo?
A transport, I hope.
But now he's suddenly an expert on Gungan law.
What the hell? Jar Jar explicitly tells Qui-Gon about the life debt in the previous scene.
You almost got us killed. Are you brainless?
I speak.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
No, Mr. Stay. Mr. Your humble servant.
That won't be necessary.
Oh, but it is. It is demanded by the gods, it is. Where is it going?
Don't worry. The Force will guide us.
The Force also guided you to nearly getting eaten by a gooberfish just a second ago. Why do we trust this Force anyway? 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 Why do we trust this Force anyway?
Oh, shit.
Why are these invading ships attacking in a straight line instead of a super wide front?
I don't know, Jeremy. It couldn't possibly be the rugged terrain on either side of this screen, now could it?
Viceroy, we have captured the Queen.
Victory.
Wait, they captured the Queen without a fight? That's not so much a victory as it is a forfeit.
Jeremy doesn't know that if your opponent forfeits, it's still a victory. I guess all those chess grandmasters aren't actually grandmasters according to this logic.
This is actually fake Queen Amidala, played by Keira Knightley. And this trailing servant is actually Natalie Portman, the real Queen, which you only really notice on your second or third viewing. But my question is, what the f*** are you doing watching this a second or third time?
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
They need her to sign a treaty to make this invasion of theirs legal. They can't afford to kill her.
What? They need her to sign a treaty to make the invasion of her home planet legal?
If you're a fully functioning adult, you understand what Panaka is saying here. He's calling this an invasion, but if it were legal, it would be called colonization. Get it?
Movie substitutes the previous robot action scenes in like we won't notice.
That would be a whole lot funnier if there weren't a big-ass Naboo starfighter in the background.
Every droid but R2-D2 gets shot off the surface of the ship like bottles on Kid Rock's fence. R2, though, that f***er is indestructible, of course.
R2-D2 is made important to this story because he didn't get destroyed. You always do this. You suggest it's convenient that a character survives or is in the right place at the right time, but you fail to understand the story happens because they're there. This is a prequel. R2 isn't important yet, and he only is important because you've seen the previous movies. For someone watching these movies in chronological order for the first time, this isn't a problem. It's like complaining about a character in a September 11th movie surviving when the movie was only made about them because they survived.
And that's saying nothing about these droids' crazy ability to drive on the exterior surface of a moving spaceship.
This is because since they are in a vacuum and there is no wind resistance, the difference between the ship's momentum and the droids is zero. In other words, try walking inside an airplane or train.
I want to know how holograms actually work. Is there a booth you step inside? From the Emperor's perspective, does he see these two guys sitting down as holograms on opposite sides of a table? If so, what—
Oh my God, who the hell cares? Oh, go.
Fine, even if this movie is for kids, even if Jar Jar was made for kids, no matter what excuse you give me, this stepping in scene is basically a metaphor for the whole franchise. Name one great kids movie that has a scene like this. Go ahead, I'm waiting.
Are you asking for good kids movies with poop humor? Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Despicable Me, The Lion King, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 3. I mean, this list literally goes on and on. If you're asking which movie specifically has a character stepping in poo, I could easily list those too, but I think it's more interesting that you're advocating for all movies to be the same. I mean, do you think children's movies should all follow the same formula? Because that's what this sounds like.
If you subscribe to the brand new and totally insane internet theory that Jar Jar was originally intended to be a Yoda-like evil Jedi Master this whole time, how do you explain this Three's Company bull?
That should have tipped you off that listening to literally any fan theories regarding Star Wars is probably an idea best left for dumbasses.
Credits will do fine.
No,
They won't! Think you're some kind of Jedi waving your hand around like that?
This didn't work against Jabba, and it didn't work against this pissant. So if the Force is only good against the weak-minded, what good is it? It should be able to take down some smarter creatures too, if it's worth a damn.
This isn't the Force. This is the Jedi mind trick, and this is the limitation of this particular usage of the Force. Qui-Gon could just as easily Force choke this bitch and call it an evening, but you see this hair? That means unless you're brandishing a red lightsaber, he's Space Jesus.
This storm will slow them down.
Looks pretty bad.
It does? I mean, I hear wind sound effects, and the picture is a tiny bit blurry, but as a viewer, I've been given no indication of a super serious sudden sandstorm or its severity.
You mean the scene literally 4 seconds before this, you goddamn liar?
This storm will slow them down.
Come on, I'll take you to my place.
Because sandstorms are very, very dangerous, and this sandstorm happened to coincide with a time when the Jedi and company were humoring a little boy tour guide, the rest of all the Star Wars can happen.
Yeah, so what's your point? Oh, hello. I don't believe we have been introduced.
The movie takes a character introduction that should feel epic and makes it feel... what's the opposite of epic?
CinemaSins?
What if this plan fails, Master?
By the way, movie sticks Obi-Wan on this ship, doing nothing the entire time on Tatooine. That's exactly what we wanted to see the badass character from the original trilogy do, now didn't we?
Listen, I love Obi-Wan Kenobi. His show is probably my most anticipated TV show at this point, other than season 3 of Kakegurui. But nowhere in the original trilogy was Obi-Wan shown to be a badass. It wasn't until this, The Clone Wars, and the next 2 prequel films where Obi-Wan showed how great he was, so please cut the shit.
Who was his father?
There was no father.
Wow, way to Jesus Christ the Anakin character. You know what would have been way more interesting? Almost any mysterious character from the galaxy impregnating you and then leaving. You could have even made that a big surprise reveal in the 3rd movie somehow. Anything but this.
Boy, do I got news for you. But first...
Do you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Qui-Gon practices the Jedi way and cheats at the dice throw. Shit, he should just use his Jedi powers to sabotage the race if he's going to subvert honesty anyway.
Except he doesn't have to do that, because he's seen how strong Anakin is with the Force, so he knows Anakin is going to win. You know, chosen one and all. And just like last time, 10 sins for splitting this video into 2 videos. It's a great strategy, I will admit, but getting people to click twice for what should be the same video? Only a Sith could come up with such a thing.
Alien rat carcasses here! Get your alien rat carcasses here!
Jeremy is enjoying this movie far more than he's letting on.
Aw, isn't that cute? This movie thinks it's Ben-Hur.
Which one, the 1959 remake or the 2016 remake? Because if it's the latter, I'll go out on a limb and say this entire film is a masterpiece compared to that bullshit.
Our meeting was not a coincidence.
Yeah, it was. Look at the things that had to happen before they ran into Anakin. He had to stumble on Jar Jar on another planet, take him in, have him show them where his home was, get released by the Gungans, survive going through the Naboo core, have ship problems on the way to another planet, just happen to land on Tatooine, befriend the child slave of a guy who sold the part they needed, and then have Jar Jar accidentally get into a fight with a professional pod racer so Anakin could break it up. Even then, the kid just kind of joined him without an invite, and I still don't think he cleaned those racks.
Again, you're failing to understand what a convenience actually is. The only reason you're suggesting that this is a convenience is because this is a prequel and you know the outcome already. If this movie was the first movie that was released in this series, you wouldn't know what the ramifications of all these events were and would not be calling them a convenience.
Padme will go from maternal figure in this film to sexual partner in the next. Like that. And that is creepy as f***.
You mean sisterly figure. And yeah, that might be creepy to us, but let's not piss off them boys in Alabama. They got yellow flags and don't wear masks.
Space is cold.
It sure is, but aren't you on a ship? Doesn't it have heat?
You're saying this to a child that has lived on a desert planet his entire life. Have you not seen Little Nicky?
But I don't need this to remember you by.
Because we already have a creepy romantic connection that won't be spoken of aloud until you're old enough for me to see your Jabor snippet, if you know what I mean. Wink.
Jeremy says boner.
I'm grateful for your concern, Chancellor.
Do you think that maybe this fake queen has actually been playing the queen for so long she's gone too deep undercover? You think maybe she feels like she's actually the queen right now?
Asking irrelevant questions.
The courts take even longer to decide things than the Senate.
They do? Well,
Okay, I laughed.
His cells have the highest concentration of midichlorians I have seen in a life form.
Therefore, he's a good guy, I think.
It's either that or allow this potentially powerful being to fall to the dark side and kill innumerable amounts of younglings. Wait.
You refer to the prophecy of the one who will bring balance to the Force.
No, because Star Wars would never do anything as stupid as having some ancient prophecy muddy the waters, right? Who makes these prophecies?
The Wills. Next question.
Afraid to lose her, I think.
Well, wouldn't you be too? Jedi Council makes it out like loving your mom is bad, assholes.
That's kind of Anakin's problem, though. He loves too hard. When you love someone to the point where you'll betray everything you stand for, you might want to get some counseling, not develop godlike powers and brandish invincible laser swords. Just saying.
Also, if you're telling me no Jedi has ever had fears, f*** you, Yoda. You're a liar and a dickhead. Everyone has fears. Why don't you just teach the kid how to move beyond them instead of acting like he's a total cheese for even having them?
To everyone's absolute surprise, CinemaSins completely misunderstands the point here. Yoda is suggesting to not allow one's fears to dictate their actions. Anakin specifically allows his fears to consume him to the point that he literally follows a motherfucker named Darth Sidious. Sidious!
No, he will not be trained.
Yoda just went on a rant about how fear leads to the dark side, but isn't the Council practicing fear by not allowing the training of Anakin?
Is it really fear if I know having sex without a condom could lead to STDs so I don't do it? Or would you call that intelligence?
Lucas deserves any and all sins that might otherwise have been directed at the actors in this movie.
Guys, there is literally no justification for this sin. It's just this frame and Jeremy saying this one line.
Also, in the span of 6 seconds, Jar Jar hits more targets than all the stormtroopers in the entire Star Wars franchise combined, and on accident.
2015 CinemaSins has obviously never seen that one episode of The Mandalorian. You know which one I'm talking about.
Birds!
Good, good. I sense your fear. Penguin, press the sin button for me. I'm cleaning my lightsaber.
Yes, my master.
Darth Maul taunts Obi-Wan here, but wouldn't it be pretty easy for him to kill Obi-Wan by, like, spear throwing his lightsaber 5 feet down into Obi-Wan's face? I mean, where's he gonna go to dodge that shit?
So you think it's a good idea to throw your only weapon at a Force user? Whose man's is this?
Darth Maul stands perfectly still while Obi-Wan does all this bullshit to kill him.
All of this is supposed to be happening at the reaction speed of a Jedi, which is supposed to be really, really fast. It looks slow to us because this movie was made in 1997.
Also, the coolest character this trilogy has gets killed like a little bitch in the first movie.
Coolest character this trilogy has? I'm gonna let you finish, but Mace Windu got a purple lightsaber.
Shit, Negro. That's all you had to say.